Welcome back, everyone. So, for this section, I wanted to bring some attention to some of the different schools of thoughts and spirituality. And I think a lot of people are now starting to get familiar with this idea of non dual. And I'll mention more about that, of course, in this course. But there has been years, centuries of philosophical debate between, let's say, Buddhism and Advaita, or we can say Vedanta, but I'm going to focus on Advaita Vedanta. So, Advaita is the non dual, Vedanta meaning Vedic teachings. And again, Buddhism. And Buddhism also has so many different directions and paths that people can take. And I find that in North America and certainly in a lot of the world, when people are moving into spiritual directions or more spiritual inquiry, there's often an interest at some point with Buddhism. And sometimes that is the place that people do settle and feel most comfortable. And some people feel very comfortable with non dual. Of course, different people feel comfortable with different approaches, period. But I thought I'd look at these two because a lot of people would think they're very different. And if you look at the language of Advaita, non dual, uh, Vedanta, Vedic teachings, if you look at that, and we're thinking about existence, consciousness, and bliss, right? So this is the goal, to get to unite with a space within us or around us, or that we can experience, that is experienced if we can remove the layers of, I'll say, ignorance, to get to that space of, again, what they would call it is Sat Chit Anand. And again, existence, consciousness, bliss. Whereas Buddhism, and I want to specifically focus on Tibetan Buddhism, but a lot of Buddhism actually feels that nothingness, getting to a space of nothingness, is the ultimate goal. And if you look at both of these terms really carefully and really understand the meanings behind them, the depth behind them, they both are relating to a space of infinity. Infinite. It's literally endless, right? So in that, both are endless. So again, one can come from a space of endless nothing, and one can come from a space of endless everything, right? So, which is kind of interesting that they're really talking about the same things, just coming at it from just slightly different angles. So, I wanted to make sure that you know that today, so that at least when someone is bringing up these terms, and maybe you yourself are exploring these, that you have some understanding of some of the history and some of the depth behind the words that are used in these teachings. Remember that both of those terms on both sides are non-quantifiable. They are infinite. They are between is and is not. So isness and is not, which is in what's also called in often Buddhist texts the middle way. And it's the same sort of idea that's coming from both, is this middle path. And this is something that I would love you to know. For both, the goal is ego transcendence. And for both, the goal is pure consciousness. So this is for both of these disciplines, both of these areas, that is the goal, is to overcome, transcend the ego, and unite with pure consciousness. I hope that helped. I'll see you in the next section. So now let's remind ourselves, we are not the body. So I am not the body. I have a body. I am the perceiver of the senses that my body is able to pick up for me. So I know I am not the senses, but I am perceiving the senses, right? So my body is a sheath. It's one tool for which I have this existence, right? Now, what's deeper was the mind, right? But I am not my mind, because I can see my mind. I can see my thoughts. I can see my feelings. I can see my understanding. I can see my awareness of my mind's thoughts and feelings and experiences, right? So let's go deeper. I know that I am the seer. I am not the seen, right? So there's something that, yeah, I am thinking these thoughts and I'm aware of those thoughts. I am an awareness of those thoughts, but I am not those thoughts, right? So it's not I am sad, it's I am experiencing a sadness. My mind is feeling sad, right? So that sort of idea. So if we go a little bit deeper and we think, okay, there's something even deeper than the mind's perceptions because there's something understanding those perceptions, right? And we can think about the intellect because when I am sad, I can think about, oh, I know what happened in life that has just happened right now. And I understand. I understand why I feel sad. I understand why I feel tired because I had a really long day and there was a lot of stress in my office. And so that deeper level of understanding, that's what I am. That is, I understand. That's my deeper awareness. So some could say I am the intelligence that's working through this body mind complex. I am an intellect. So here we can ask some basic questions to see whether it is I that I'm looking for, this intellect. So we ask the simple question, does intellect change? Yeah, intellect does change, right? So what I understood yesterday is different than what I understand today based on the information I gained or remembered or contemplated. And so it does change. But the I that didn't know what I knew yesterday and knows what I know today is the same. It doesn't change. Is it something that we can be aware of? Am I aware of this difference that happened? That yesterday I didn't know something and today I know it. I'm aware of it. That's why I'm sharing with you, right? I'm aware that something has changed. That awareness is interesting, right? Because that awareness was aware when I didn't know because I wanted to understand. And as I took time to understand, today I know. And I am still the same, the one that was aware that I was not aware yesterday, and the same one that is aware that I am aware today. This makes the intellect an object of awareness. It's an object. How about the awareness itself? Is it an object? No, it's awareness is not something that I can grasp onto. It's not something I can point out. It's not something I have an awareness that I didn't know something yesterday in my intellect. And with my intellect, I do know something today. So it is different. Again, the thing there is changeable is that object of awareness. What is not changeable is that awareness. There's also I am aware of the intellect. Is the intellect aware of I? I don't believe so. It is I who is aware of this intellect. Yet, the deeper I, that intellect is not aware of I. That intellect is like a tool that, oh, I used my understanding to get to a place of understanding today because of an intention to sit down and contemplate and maybe meditate, maybe reflect, maybe put pieces together with my intellect. Yet the intellect does not know me. I know the intellect. So the intellect is also seen as one more layer, one more sheath, and this is not I. The intellect is not I. I am not the intellect. I am something beyond the intellect. So let's dig deeper to find out, who am I? What am I? That is this awareness behind everything. When we can say is that consciousness behind everything, right? So there's a layer called the sheath of bliss, the layer of bliss, and one more layer. That's what I am. So this is a space really of nothingness. And I will tell you that one of the ways that we all experience this space is in deep sleep. Now, are we aware of this state of bliss in deep sleep? Most people would say no. I know when I'm falling asleep. I know when I've got dream-filled sleep, So I know if I've had a good dream, I'll remember that. But in that deep sleep state, I don't know. So with this section, I am putting a couple of references below this for you to understand these times in our lives, these experiences that every single person goes through. This is going to be the waking, the dreaming, and the deep sleep state. And there's also a state called Turiya, which I'm not going to explain in this video, but I'm putting some references for you here. I do want you to know that, again, when people say, well, but I'm not really aware, and I certainly wouldn't say I was in bliss, but I'm not aware in a really good sleep. There you go. How do you know that it was a really good sleep? So you know that when you wake up in the morning, if you've had a good sleep, it's not because there were great dreams usually. In fact, if you've been active in your mind and have had lots of dreams, whether good or not good, you don't feel so rested, right? But when you've had deep sleep, it's very easy to wake up in the morning and feel, I had a really good sleep. What is it that knows that? Who knows that? That space is a space of bliss. So it's known as the sheath of bliss. And this is a place that people can get to in different times too, but that is probably the one that everyone does experience at some time, and many people every single day. There's going to be at least some time in that deep sleep state where when someone wakes and our waking consciousness kicks in, we can actually realize we've had a really good sleep and it feels great, right? That is a sheath of bliss. So let's go back to basic questions. Does that space, that experience change? Does that sheath of bliss change? Oh, we can say easily, right? We should be able to say easily. Some would say, well, I don't know. I'm not aware in that space. But you are aware as soon as you wake up. Now, just the fact that you went from deep sleep to waking up shows you that that changes, right? What does not change? That awareness of, I was in such a good sleep to, and now I'm awake. Or I was in sleep, but it was so restless, I didn't have a good sleep last night. Either one, there is an awareness that tells you both, right? So are you aware of it? Yeah, we're aware of it. Is it aware of us? Does deep sleep say, hey, you know what? Thanks for the deep sleep? No, it doesn't, right? We know that we say, I had a really deep sleep. It was so good. I felt excellent, right? So one thing is it changes. The other thing is it is an object, right? So I can look at the time last night that I had this really great sleep because I woke up this morning feeling like, oh, I feel so fresh. I had a really great sleep, right? So it is an object of awareness, but it is not aware of the subject, right? So the subject is the one that is aware. So who is that? What is that is aware? So it's funny, right? We've gone through 4 layers now. We've gone through the body, we've gone through the mind, we've gone through the intellect, and we've gone through a layer of bliss, and we still have not found the awareness of the consciousness. Where is that consciousness, and what is that consciousness? What is that experience? So when you ask masters, what is beyond this? Because something is beyond this. This is where masters are silent. And this seems really not fair, right? It seems like, wow, I went through all these layers and I know for sure I was all ready to write down, this is what consciousness is. Except that consciousness just is. And this is the thing when we are thinking about whether we look at it from Buddhist perspective, which is talking about nothingness, and we look at it from Vedantic perspective, Advaita, or non-dual perspective, there is this existence, consciousness, bliss, awareness, that we are just there. Now, I will tell you that in this space, and people can get into this space of awareness, when we are truly curious about who is, what is this experience of consciousness, we can get there through meditation, through reflection, through contemplation, and recognizing that the intention is truly just to unite with the space, which is truly our core essence. This core essence, again, can be called the soul. It could be called Turiya state. It can be called pure consciousness. All of that is the same, and there really are no words to describe it. I have had the pleasure, I want you to know, honestly, from my heart and soul, I have had this experience of that state of pure awareness. And I've definitely had a lot of awareness of being in a state of bliss too. But I will tell you, this pure consciousness is just undefinable. It's exactly what the masters say. And of course, my goal is that I will stay there more and more regularly, or be able to get into that space more and more efficiently to connect with my highest self. And I will also put a link to a series of videos that are on my YouTube channel that will also help to guide you for learning some of the basic components that will help you too. In this course, I want to talk about finally this space that we've been trying to get to. So I will tell you that I is the subject, and I is the consciousness that illuminates all of the sheets, from the body to blankness. So when we are looking at, we could not have any of the experiences that I have described in this course without being that pure consciousness behind it. Without pure consciousness, none of those individual experiences can be experienced. Now, here's the thing. One of the ways that, maybe the only way, to get to that space is this intuitive insight. And you might say, oh, I'm not very intuitive, or I have really good intuition. Fantastic. If you're not intuitive, fantastic, because this can be developed. It's there, but it does take a little bit of focused effort of how can I reach that space. And if the intention is pure, your results will be pure consciousness. That is the space of enlightenment. That is the space that shows you that what is lighting every experience for you is that pure consciousness. And this is the space where so much love, peace, compassion, unity flows from us. And this space can be achieved by people like you and I. I am not a monk. I am not a Swami. But I can tell you that through my humble efforts and sincere, heartfelt approach, I have experienced this. I, again, feel this is my calling. This is my reunion, we'll say, with my higher self. And I am loving every step of the way. There is no time when I reach that space that I think, okay, now I'm there, I'm good forever. I will not be so bold or prideful. I will be very humbly sharing with you that it is good. It is such a good experience, even the journey up to those spaces. So as I'm still in this continuous journey of going up and down through this awareness of what is, and being aware of my objective mind, and then coming back into my spiritual mind, it is such a stark difference. But everything in my day-to-day experience has changed because of this work. And I hope that you know that through this course, that is my hope for you. If you did not understand something, if you did not hear something, even if you have heard it and you thought you understood it, see if you can repeat it in your own words. See if you can experience it. And you know, I'm going to be adding in a couple of videos for just meditation and contemplation after this. I also want you to know that on Sundays, I do have free meditation that's available to the public through my YouTube channel. But I want you to know that right here, you are able to learn this again and again and again. And anything that we need to learn, we need to go through the experience, right? So the things we choose to learn, we learn by choosing to learn it, right? Remember that it takes a mindful attention, that I choose to learn this. There's something that's drawing me, not just to be able to say from an ego perspective that, I've done this and I know that. There is something so beautifully um, transcending and humbling at the same time that happens in this experience. And I am a testament to the fact that this can happen for all of us. I'm hoping that you will go through this course regularly and see that you too can get to that space, how long you choose to stay there, and how much you make it part of your existence, consciousness, and bliss, or let's say how much you allow existence, consciousness, and bliss to be part of your life experience through this form will be up to you. And I hope that this course is setting you off on the right steps. Have a great day, everyone. I'm looking forward to seeing you at the meditations, and you can repeat those as often as you want. And again, I'll make sure that you have lots of links to be able to look at some resources beyond this course. Do get in touch with me if you have any questions. You know that you can email me or phone me. You know that all of my information is available publicly. And I hope that you have learned even just a smidgen more than what you knew before this course. Have a great day, everyone. And as I like to say to all of my clients, and certainly my motto, transform your mind and transform your life. Namaste, everyone. So for some of you, you've gone through this course like every other course and felt like, yeah, I guess I learned some stuff. And for others, there might have been flashes of enlightenment. Might be. Some may be completely enlightened. You'll know your experience. Now, what happens when someone is completely enlightened? Is it like fireworks and rainbows and lollipops and all these loving animals and friends? And is that what happens after enlightenment? Well, not exactly. It's exactly the same, yet it's totally different. Now, maybe someone feels more devotional towards God. Like everything I do for God, for Jesus, for my maker, right? So that sort of idea. Now that can be a dualistic approach, and that can be the space of transcendence that a person gets to, where up till now they were thinking about just doing things for themselves, and now they're giving it back to a higher power. And even in that time could be a lot more generosity with family, even with family being everyone, right? There is this desire to care for all as one, to care for us all as part of the same family, to have this love and compassion that pours out of oneself, not only for one's own self, but also for everyone, right? And it doesn't mean that you have to start buying things for everyone. That shows me that I'm enlightened if I'm starting to, pay for everyone for everything, as many people as I can. Nothing like that. You will work with the tools that you've got and the life that you've got and the experience that you've got. But I can tell you that in this space of pure consciousness, remember, we're working towards existence, consciousness, and bliss. And all of this is possible, not because you're trying to reach. If I could only get to a bliss place, that becomes ego. That's I, little me, wants to get to this place of bliss, right? If I can only get there. But when I want to unite with that higher power, which is already me, that is clouded by the little me ego, oh my goodness, a whole different slew of opportunities starts flooding into our life experience. And of course, this also reflects our, I believe, energetic space that is emanating from us in terms of our higher vibrational energy. So we'll think of things like peace, love, compassion. All of those things have very high vibrational values. And I will put a couple of links of books that might be interesting to you to read, to think about those concepts or contemplate those too. But I will tell you that someone who is fearful or angry or frustrated is in a very low vibrational energy. And it takes a lot of that to create an overall low vibrational energy in our society. Now, we would think, I'm quite aware of quite a few people who have, anger, frustration, grief, sadness, fear, all of those lower vibrations. It's a lot of it that we notice. And it only takes a very few people to be in these higher vibrations, this place of peace, this place of joy, this place of bliss, this happiness this love, this compassion. Any of these are lifting up our own personal energies and then the energies of the world around us. And again, I will put a couple of links so that you have this awareness of things that you can read that will actually help push you along or nudge you along towards the space. And I can tell you, you will love it. You will love it. I have no doubt of saying that to you. If you truly allow yourself to let go of your mind and embrace your soul and higher self. I hope that this course has helped you just a little bit to do just that. So then here, I now is the eternal and free. I have always been free. I am pure consciousness. I am existence, consciousness, and bliss. And I know we all are. I hope you find this within you and reclaim what is truly yours. Thank you for joining me with this course.